everyone, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in to Relevant Jukebox, and today we're going to talk about the debut album of Black Country New Road for the first time. So this is the debut album of the rock band Black Country New Road, which has been pretty hotly anticipated in the underground for a little while now. It just feels like it was a long time ago when they dropped the single Sunglasses back in 2019, which also shows up on this debut LP with some reworkings. And the album overall is pretty brief. It's 6 tracks, 41 minutes long. And, you know, honestly, I'm kind of down the middle overall with this album. For one, I do really enjoy the atmosphere that this band creates. It's like a little bit mysterious feeling, a little bit dark in its tone. I mean, there's certainly a Slint vibe hanging over this, and that tone is matched pretty well overall by the vocalist, I think. Maybe a bit over dramatic sounding at times, but he kind of reminds me of Jordan from La Dispute, but like maybe if his balls dropped or something. And every once in a while across this album, the band weaves in like a pretty captivating guitar line that sounds like it could have been plucked out of a handful of different like emo records from like the Northwest sound movement of the 90s. They also incorporate a lot of saxophones and violins into the instrumentation, which I think is really cool and enjoy quite a bit. Now, the 2 lead singles that promoted this album were the ones that stood out the most to me, one being Science Fair. There's a pretty nice cerebral groove that the band hits on this track that's almost a little Swans-esque, and the track builds towards this big climax at the end with a lot of synthesizers and then horns layered in as well. I will say it does kind of drag on a little bit too long though. And then there's also the track X, which has the most subdued feeling and sound on the whole record, but also the most gorgeous instrumentation. I love all the like really gentle piano flourishes and the subtle saxophones that come in and out. I mean, it just adds such a nice touch. But you know, the more that I consumed this record overall, the more I was left wanting more from the tracks that I liked and just absolutely completely forgetting the rest of the album. I guess I'm just not really a fan of how they arranged a lot of these tracks, and there's even spots on here where the band doesn't sound like they're playing together cohesively. Take the track Athens, France, for example. It just never really feels like each part of this song and its phases that it goes through, which there are a lot of them, they just never really feel reinforced by one another. Some parts meander a bit too long, other parts come in and they're just too brief, and by the time the whole thing's over, I'm just kind of like, what did I just listen to? And a few of the more intense spots on the album, like the single Sunglasses or even the closing track Opus, kind of operate on a similar formula where the whole track points towards a very large crescendo, noisy section at the end, but you know, the impact just kind of isn't really there. They play around with this loud, quiet dynamic in their sound, and it just feels underutilized like throughout this entire album. Also, the way that the record kicks off with an instrumental cut is just so bland. I mean, it's just not a good tone setter for the album. Kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I just wish they kind of took it further down the rabbit hole or even took more time to flesh some of these tracks out. I like the atmosphere and the mood of the record, and a lot of those saxophones and violins are incorporated pretty nicely, but I mean, I just wish they were set to like more impactful tracks. And with that being said, I'm feeling a 6 over here on For the First Time. Now, I'm gonna have links below to Black Country New Road's Bandcamp in my description box. They still do have a standard black pressing up for sale and a cassette. It looks like the limited white vinyl has completely sold out by now. And if you listened to Black Country New Road's debut, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments section down below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and share, and if you want more content from me, hit that subscribe button. Peace.